let's talk about something critical. We're going to explore why the visual quality of your content is no longer just a technical detail. For premium brands, it's become one of the most important strategic decisions you can make. After years working on color pipelines for major projects, I've come to a fundamental conclusion. For a premium brand, what you show is who you are. It's your identity on screen. And that's why this shift to high dynamic range, or HDR, isn't just an option. It's strategic, because what something looks like directly defines how it's valued. So let's get one thing straight right up front. The screens your clients, your customers, your audience, the screens they use to see the world have already changed. High dynamic range isn't some far-off future trend. It's here. It's the standard, right now. So let's dive into this new visual reality. It really starts with accepting one simple fact. The days of standard dynamic range, SDR, being the benchmark for a quality image, well, they're over. Think about it. Where do your clients set their expectations for what looks good? It's on platforms like Netflix, Disney+, Apple TV+, right? And as you can see, every single one of them has made 4K HDR their premium standard. This has become the default visual baseline that your brand is now being judged against. And this goes way beyond just streaming services. Just look at the biggest, most watched cultural events on the entire planet. For any of these premium, high-stakes broadcasts, the World Cup, the Olympics, the Super Bowl, HDR is now the required format for delivery. The standard for premium has been set at the very highest level. And this new reality, it creates what I call a brand perception gap. It's this massive disconnect between how you want your brand to be seen and how it actually is seen on a modern screen. So let's get specific about what you're actually losing by sticking with old-school SDR. Understanding this difference is absolutely crucial. When your SDR content shows up on an HDR screen, which is most screens now, it looks washed out, kind of flat. Honestly, it just looks dated. It literally can't reproduce the correct colors. HDR, on the other hand, is built for these screens. It delivers an image that's vivid and lifelike. It's the difference between looking premium and, well, looking obsolete. And this isn't just theory. Look at this comparison. This is the real-world impact. On the left, in the standard image, the colors are flat. And see how the shadows on that mountain just get crushed into this one big black blob? All that detail is just gone. But now look at the HDR version. The colors pop, and you can see every last bit of texture and detail in those exact same shadows. This isn't some filter. This is the visual information your brand is throwing away by using SDR. This leads us to a really fundamental problem for any brand. I mean, think about an iconic color like Coca-Cola red. If your content can't display that exact color accurately on your client's screen, have you really maintained control of your brand identity? No way. SDR loses that control. HDR is how you take it back. But look, this is not just about making pretty pictures. This superior visual quality translates directly into tangible business value. So let's talk about how we can turn these pixels into actual profit. So how does a better image affect the bottom line? Well, studies show HDR evokes a stronger emotional response. It pulls your audience in, making them feel more engaged, more immersed. It directly boosts the perceived quality and therefore the value of your product or your space or your service. And maybe most importantly, it aligns your brand with a premium modern aesthetic. This isn't a cost center. It's a direct investment in your brand's equity. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds really complicated. And you know what? You're right. It is. But here's the interesting part. That technical complexity, that's not a weakness. It's actually your greatest strategic advantage. Okay, don't worry about trying to read every little box on this diagram. Just take a step back and appreciate the complexity itself. This is what it takes to produce true professional HDR. It's this whole web of specialized gear and expert oversight. And that is your competitive moat.
It's a massive barrier to entry that protects you from competitors who simply can't afford or don't know how to replicate this level of quality.
And to be more specific, mastering HDR isn't about just flipping a switch in some software. It demands things like calibrated reference monitors that can cost tens of thousands of dollars. It needs advanced color grading systems, specialized format converters, and very specific lookup tables for the color science. But more than any of that, it requires the deep human expertise to pull it all together. This is a craft, not a commodity.
And this is precisely where human mastery becomes your ultimate shield. As it says here, AI-generated content often feels, well, formulaic. It struggles with the kind of deep insight needed for truly complex, nuanced work. The artistry, the technical precision that goes into high-end HDR, that just can't be automated by an algorithm or faked by a low-cost competitor. It demands a master craftsman.
So all of this leads to a fundamental choice. The technology has shifted. Audience expectations have been reset. The competitive landscape is being redrawn as we speak. This is now a leadership decision. Are you going to lead from the front, or are you going to be forced to play catch-up from behind? And here's the point of no return. The moment a client sees their project, their product, their brand in true, proper HDR, their expectation is permanently reset. They can't unsee it. They will not go back to the old way. And by showing them what's possible, you don't just win a project. You immediately put immense pressure on every single one of your competitors who can't deliver that same level of quality. The mass adoption of HDR isn't a maybe. It's an inevitability. It's happening right now, all around us. So the only real question left on the table is about your brand's position in this massive shift. The choice isn't about whether you'll adapt to some distant future. The decision is right here, right now. Will your brand simply follow where the market goes, or will you be the one to get out in front and actually shape it? So the only question is, are you ready to lead? For those of you who are, the next step is straightforward. It's a technical audit. I'm offering a complimentary review of one of your current projects. We'll analyze the render and show you, in no uncertain terms, exactly what visual data is being lost, and then we'll build a roadmap to restore it. Let's have that conversation and secure your position as a leader.